from the ZA Royale. How could you forget already?
How could you ever forget about such iconic and memorable characters like...
Oh, it turns us last night. Sorry, never heard the bell. Must not have been much of a challenge. Oh, dang. Battle zones are intense. Escape from the battle zone. I'm gonna go this way. Not that way. It's like Battlefield 6. I like this song.
Ready yourself.
This way. What if I go this way? Not that way.
I love these games where the computer tells you which way you can go.
Ready to die? Oh wait, my friend here is a part of...
I believe I have too.
Sounds like you got a killer, Pokey Girl. The voice
you will propel me up the ranks.
You are counted by Bridget the waitress. If you kill me in a battle zone, you're not gonna get that good of a tip.
This fighting is actually different.
¡Ah, la verga! Me trabó. ¡Puta madre!
I go over this kick. Can I do like a little kick? Kick Bumblebee in the head? Oh wow, Pokey Girl, you're so big. Now you know how intense battles are. Now I truly understand how intense battles are.
Hola Pepito Pepín, ¿cómo andamos?
I'm waiting.
You are too small to be a danger. I have seen your face on a poster. This is going to hurt. I am here to collect your head.
Rodrix si ha unido correctamente.
Hola Rodrix.
This day is your last! Here I come! I am too strong for you! Here I come! Hey! Here I come! Lord Saito has an army! Nothing! Have mercy!
Make it worth my while. Tell me where I can find more of Saito's followers.
They've taken over a hunting camp, not far from here. The fools refuse to serve Lord Saito.
Get out of here. They were looking for me. And the people who lived here paid the price.
Ya vas a empezar.
¿Empezar qué, Pepito Pepín?
Some of you were born to this land. Others, like myself, were forced to make Ezo our home. A home we have built beyond the Shogun's control. Where anyone can join Clan Saito and be named samurai. If they are brave enough to earn it. Clan Matsumai call themselves the protectors of the North. But this land is ours, and we will defend our home!
What is it? One of our camps has fallen. They say it was attacked by an Onryo.
A ghost. That woman is flesh and blood.
Of course, my lord. Only the people believe otherwise.
The people believe what they are told. When you call her Anu, you evoke something greater than a single woman. You give her power. It has taken years to gain a foothold in Ezo. Every camp we lose gives the Matsumai ground. Bring me her head, not excuses.
Sería que no fuera penal. Daniel no va a decir a mí también pegaron, pues sí, pero la falta sí la marcaron. No expulsaron a Fofana, pero la falta la marcaron. Es un jalón. Es un jalón cuando Santi va hacia el balón. No se pueden dar tantos vueltas. Y buscan y vamos a ver, es un jalón. Es un jalón clarísimo, es penal. allá, Ranieri. Claro que es el que tiene que ir allá a dialogar con él, porque es el capitán, pero ya. Señor árbitro.
Hola.
Hola, Pepito Bebín. ¿No me escuchas o qué?
Clarísimo, es clarísimo. Para el taquero mucha lana y enemigo. Bueno, si nos escuchan en Latinoamérica, algunos no entenderán, pero en México, Centroamérica, sí. Y lengua también de una vez. Todo bien.
Sí, escucha.
Looks like I have you to thank for keeping me in business today.
Find anything good?
See for yourself. Care to see the new merchandise I've gathered?
Ahí está Fofana. ¿Qué más era? ¿Fofana o Santi? Fofana ya ha cobrado, sí, ¿verdad? Es Fofana. Engancho Fofana. Y Rafael León también. Ya no, ya llegó Rafael. Mira, Fofana nada más se la protegió.
Paris KL Batrix C for UNNOA Inglaterra Jajaj.
Padre Robin se fue por un año a Inglaterra. Es que sí necesito cambiar esto a. Creo que necesito cambiar el idioma de mi consola a español. Como lo tengo en inglés, lo lee todo raro.
Mi amigo el aguacatero, hay niveles. Sí, pero Santi tenía que cobrar. Era claro que se siente más el. Perdón que lo diga. Pero ahí va.
Ukon Raisin.
Fantastic choice. A perfect match. Watch yourself out there.
Why porque you no mustras la cara como antes?
Porque estoy jugando directo de la PlayStation.
Ada ok ahora todo tiene sentido.
O sea, en este stream no estoy usando la compu, entonces no tengo la cámara y todo eso. Es directo con el Play 5.
Hace mucho tiempo que no veo you en directo tuyo.
Sí, es que ya no me he conectado tanto, pero ya me voy a conectar más, ya me voy a conectar más.
Wonder if Mother had to deal with the same things I do. It always gives me hope seeing those red torii gates, knowing a shrine awaits at the end. The path can be dangerous. I'll offer that effort to the coming to earn their blessing.
I miss having mochi.
Y también yo que no he tenido mucho tiempo culpa de los estudios y todo.
¿Se estudió? ¿A dónde vamos? Vamos acá.
Greetings. You look weary. You should stop by the hot spring nearby. A soak would be nice.
Look out below! Do you meet sadistic meat?
Ya casi me tengo que ir a dormir.
Ah, es que tú eres español, ¿verdad? O... No, tú, Pepito Pepín, eres del Salvador. ¿De dónde eras, Pepito Pepín? Recuérdame.
I'm just a traveler passing through.
I know a ghost when I see one. Cut off her head. That bounty is ours.
No olviden suscribirse al canal y dar like. Si mis padres de El Salvador pero vivimos en Bélgica.
Cierto, cierto, cierto. ¿Qué hablan allá, francés? Hijo de puta.
See Francis Y. Neerlands.
Hijo de puta. Ay, qué putos estos güeyes con las flechas. El lobo, a huevo.
You'll fetch a nice bounty from the Yotei 6.
Stop! I give up.
Then start talking. I know the Oni is in Ishikari Plain. Tell me how to get there.
Go to the golden foothills in the Yotei grasslands. Look for the yellow-leafed trees. The path is there, but it's guarded by a Matsumai check.
Ya casi es Halloween.
Now.
Ya casi es Halloween, ¿verdad que? ¿Te vas a disfrazar? Pepito Pepín. Oye, ¿ya has hecho más videos de YouTube?
No, no he tenido tiempo de hacer.
Ya.
Quizalo short hair alguna mañana.
Come on, boy. What's a monk doing? Don't see many monks this far north. It's dangerous to travel alone.
I have trained on mountain trails my entire life. I can handle a few stray bandits, don't you worry.
This looks like a shrine path.
People who come to Ezo often find themselves lost, seeking guidance. So they build shrines and look to nature to remind them of their place in the world.
My mother used to say the spirits would grant you their blessings, if you kept them company.
Nature and its spirits remain untouched by the greed of the South. At least for now. Stay safe, stranger.
Unetalos Luigi Mexa browse y apoyamos seguir streamindo. https://www.youtube.com/@luigimexa/join. Why you know ventas directors los otros chicos que estaban antes.
Sí, algunos sí. Tanto mis amigos como los que me veían, pero no sé, esta es una hora peculiar, como que siempre los directos son más tarde.
It's so quiet up here. trail has broken down over the years.
T. Lamas de verdad Luigi Osun apodo.
Me llamo Luis. Me llamo Luis.
Father said the priests
Pues
called
Luigi
these the spirits
es
of
un
the
apodo
mountain.
que me han puesto mucha gente que ni siquiera sabe que me gusta Luigi Bros o los videojuegos o lo que sea.
Okay. Bueno Luigi y me tengo que ir a dormir. Adiós hasta la próxima.
Nos vemos, Pepito Pepín.
I wonder if Mother and Father stopped here to rest or enjoy the view.
Hey guys, I want to talk to you all about Twitch.tv. A lot of you have been to the website before, maybe you've even seen me. Hopefully this video gets a large enough and broad enough audience, so maybe some of you guys might not be familiar with who I am. My name's Asmongold. I've made content for the better part of 10 years. I've been a top Twitch streamer for also the better part of 10 years, and I have watched my platform degrade and turn into probably the worst iteration, the worst version of itself that it has ever been. And I want to talk about exactly where things stand right now, how we got there, and where I think that they're going. Now, just recently, there was a TwitchCon event where a very popular female streamer, Imaru, was sexually assaulted by a person at her meet and greet. Twitch decided to deal with this by ignoring it originally, lying about the events as they occurred, and then offering as a restitution, suspending this person's account for 30 days. I'm serious. This is actually what happened. She came out and said it herself. You can watch her recent VOD on Twitch, twitch.tv/Amaru, if you'd like to find out for yourself. But anyway, basically Twitch totally mismanaged this situation. This also comes after the previous year of Twitch allowing another streamer to sexually assault two male streamers, also friends of mine, NMPLOL and Wade Wilder, one by kissing their hand and the other one by licking their nipple. This apparently didn't get as much attention because obviously it didn't happen to the girl, and it just wasn't as big of a thing. It didn't get as much traction. So, big surprise, Twitch decided to let it happen again this year, and luckily, and thank you for all of you guys that are not letting them get away with it. Today, I want to talk to you all about how bad it's really gotten, because a lot of you probably don't pay attention every day, and I think that really for your sanity, that's probably a good thing. Unfortunately, I do. So, in the past, I think probably year or so, Twitch has, I think, become a worse and worse version of itself. And I'm going to talk about this, and I really want to make this very clear with this video, is that there's not one point of failure. And in fact, actually, I would say that it would be easier if I could point to one point of success. If I can. But theoretically, it would be easier. The entire thing, it seems like, is rotten. It's rotten at the top, it's rotten in the middle, and it's rotten at the bottom. The moderation is wrong. The advertising team is totally, completely off base. The executive team seems to be completely disconnected. And when they're not disconnected, they're actively malicious, or at least indirectly malicious. I can see misrepresenting what happened with Emaru's story. And the only time that things ever seem to happen, even slightly, is when Amazon, their company, tries to take control because they've totally run things into the ground. And hopefully this can reach some people at Amazon and they can realize just how bad things truly are. So the first thing I'd want you guys to all look at is if you go to twitchtracker.com, you can just look at the stats of Twitch. If you look at the beginning of 2025 and you can, it has been on a steady decline. And whenever I'm talking about a steady decline, I'm not talking about a 10% decline. We're looking at about a 30 to 40% decline in viewership from the start of the year up until now, with it just trending more and more downward. And this is even despite Kai doing a massive event last month and the FaZe subathon that's been going around this month. So after that happens, after that's over, I assume that it's even going to get worse than it even is now. And Twitch is even going back to its pre-COVID numbers. This is while at the same time YouTube is succeeding, Kick is succeeding, TikTok is succeeding, and Twitch is dying. Twitch is dying. Why is Twitch dying? Well, it's because they're killing it. That's the reason why. And let's talk about all the different things now. So I think one of the meta-level things that a lot of you guys here on YouTube probably know all too well is the advertising situation on Twitch. Ads are extremely prevalent on Twitch. Twitch has effectively incentivized creators into making a Faustian pact with Twitch and also, unfortunately, against their viewers in order to have to run a certain amount of ads per hour that will then guarantee them a minimum income that will allow them to make a certain amount of money. This amount of money is a very large amount of money, especially for smaller creators, and Twitch has effectively incentivized creators to kill their own platform and to kill their own streams. And as I said before, judging by the graphs, it's doing really well. So basically, the advertising situation with Twitch is that you get ads. You have some streams that, like, this is an hour long per stream, right? And for every hour, it's 8 minutes of ads. This is insane. I mean, like, by next year, we're probably going to be at the level of network or cable television. So, and that's not even to count sponsors and other things like this. Twitch has constantly been behind in terms of technological advancements. They've decided to lock the, renowned feature of being able to, believe this, rewind a stream. They've decided to paywall the ability to rewind a stream without any sort of problems or having to go back to the VOD. So that's the way that they think about their product, and that's how much they care about you as a viewer. So while they're not spamming you with ads or allowing you to watch other types of perverse, deranged content, or also making you sit through a stream that has horrible quality. They're making you have to go back and rewind by opening up a second page. So Twitch recently has claimed to do something about the viewbot situation. Well, anybody, I'm not going to name names, okay? But we all know who's viewbotting. There are a lot of people who are still viewbotting at massive degrees, which has done effectively nothing. But one of the things that they have done is they have effectively killed the careers of a number of small streamers. I'm talking about streamers that are getting 20 viewers, and now they've been narrowed down to 4. I'm talking about streamers that used to get 100, and now they're getting 20 or 40 or something like that. And for a creator like that, you have the difference between a part-time job and a hobby. So you have people that, at some point were making a good amount of money, and now because of this recalculation, it has just simply changed the way that it's being calculated, and it's completely killed their discoverability, and it's killed their channel. Not every single one of these people are viewbotting, and if they were all viewbotting, then the big streamers that are still viewbotting would have also been affected. So effectively, what Twitch's changes have done is they've punished and hurt small creators that actually probably weren't viewbotting, or if they were, it was maybe like their friend opening up their stream on a second channel. Oops, that was my chair, not me. Everything is fine. Yeah, it's basically they're opening up their friend's stream on a second channel. Oh, wow, it's 2 or 3 extra views. Meanwhile, you have people at the top that are viewbotting 10, 20, 30,000 viewers. So Twitch doesn't really give a fuck about this at all, and it seems like they're just letting all these small streamers let their careers pretty much go.
Fred was smiling, and obviously there's been speculation about his future in the team, and it seems to respond. I'll try to get my words out.
All creative work has a shelf life, and all art of any kind made now is in some way affected by, contextualized by, or straight up about now. Even the most timeless of works intrinsically relate to the author or authors and the time the work exists in, but sometimes stuff just holds up. Video games are no different. Some of them stand the test of time, and that's what we want to talk about today. Hi folks, it's Falcon, and today on Game Rings, 10 games that have aged like fine. Starting off with number 10, it's Portal 1 and 2. It's kind of crazy how well both these games hold up. If they were made today, they would probably feel just about the same, and they came out back in 2007 and 2011. First, Portal is old enough to vote, but you'd barely be able to tell other than the fact that it uses the Half-Life 2 engine. And a lot of modern games are still made using Source. People are still using Source Filmmaker to make YouTube videos and stuff. It may look dated, but it feels contemporary because it feels like a style. But why these games feel so timeless is the gameplay. They're brilliantly designed puzzle games that made incredible use of a simple, but yet kind of mind-blowing gimmick. The Portals were impressive back then, and they still kind of low-key impress even now. It helps that very few games have ever really tried to replicate Portals, so the gimmick still is pretty fresh. The presentation plays an important part in what keeps the games relevant as well. The voice acting, the deadpan humor, and the overall excellent pace of these games makes them fun to go back to even after you know how to solve all the puzzles.
For your own safety and the safety of others, please refrain from sources or
For most games like this, there's little reason to go back and replay them after you finish, but with Portal, and especially Portal 2, there's enough variety and humor to keep the experience feeling fresh and fun. Portals are just cool, too. It's mind-blowing tech back in 2007. It's still an impressive novelty today. Something else with enough variety and humor to keep the experience fresh, hopefully, is Game Rings, which we want to ask you to subscribe, because believe it or not, most people watching are not subscribed right now. We do everything we can to make good stuff, and your subscription helps us make more of it, so hopefully it helps you see some stuff you want to see. Thank you very much for that subscription, and let's get back to it. And number 9 is Fear. This FPS from the all-time greats at Monolith, RIP, more clearly shows its age than something like Portal. It's more of a traditional FPS game, so there's cutscenes that involve getting a nice big close-up of mid-2000s character models.
Some secrets get buried deeper than others. I don't know where to dig.
Got the wrong guy. Shit. These potato-faced weirdos aren't fooling anybody. It's a telltale sign of an old shooting game. The character models may not hold up, and the environmental design is pretty quiet. But the part that matters most, the actual shooting stuff.
Oh.
For a 20-year-old game, the combat remains the best ever in a single-player FPS. The way enemies get shout-outs, what you're doing, and seem to have some tactics, put them well above most enemy AI, even in games made today. The actual act of shooting the guns feels extremely powerful in the way few games manage, and some of the effects are still more impressive than some stuff you see today. Stuff like making it so lights actually cast rays even when you shoot them and make them shake. It's not difficult to do today, but it was crazy difficult back then, and you really don't see developers showing off like this anymore. The shooting is still some of the best ever, and it's kind of bizarre nobody really flocks to the fear-like in mass as a genre. There's that indie game Trepec 2, which is awesome. Don't get me wrong. I'll bring up Trepec 2 whenever I can. Well, that's pretty much it. And the thing with Fear is that it is not a perfect game. It does have some boring parts. The environmental design is pretty drab, but none of that really matters once the action starts. Because even now, something has yet to been able to match it in pure adrenaline and satisfaction. It's one of those games that just feels sublime to play, and that holds up better than almost anything out there. And number 8 is The Witcher 3. Can you believe this game is a decade old? Feels like one of those games just perpetually a few years old. But time is finally starting to catch up with CD Projekt Red's 2015 masterpiece. The first 2 Witcher games were solid efforts, but the jump in quality from those games to this one cannot be understated. The Witcher 3 was a real kick in the pants for the whole industry, not just the Witcher series. From a small-time Polish company that just came out of nowhere and is now putting out games that the rest of the AAA gaming industry wishes they could put out. Well, maybe not at launch, but Cyberpunk 2077, you can't argue with the behemoth that is that game. In some ways, everybody's still trying to catch up with what they were able to accomplish with this game, though. Most modern open-world games owe some debt to The Witcher 3. It's a game everyone wants to make, but nothing else is quite as idiosyncratic or as ambitious. It's essentially an open-world game with action and combat. The combat is probably where The Witcher 3 holds up the least. It's not terrible or anything, but it's clearly made by a dev without a lot of action game experience. I kind of think that makes it interesting personally. I'm certainly never going to tell people it's the most advanced combat in the world, but I'm always going to be one of its defenders because I enjoy it. It's not just another copy of based open world combat. You can see it in so many other open world games. It's a little floaty, a little loose, but I mean, to have this big of a game, both in actual scope and in cultural reception, have such an idiosyncratic aspect to it that there's not really anything else on that level that's like it. It doesn't even necessarily need to be because it's good. It's different. I would say that it's good. It's certainly not great, but it's good. But in truth, the thing that makes Witcher 3 stand out is the detail. The game is absolutely stacked with little details, unique character interactions, funny or unusual bits of dialogue, easy to miss secrets and alternatives.
¿Qué tengo que hacer? No sé. A ver si recuerdo que subí acá en algún punto. ¿Dio una voltota a lo pendejo y ya o qué?
Realistic while also having a little bit of a stylized appearance that manages the increasingly outdated graphics. Again, it comes off a bit as a style, and because of that, it does a better job holding up. It does help that this is one of the most bespoke, carefully crafted open worlds ever. It's a mix of art design and technical prowess that makes The Witcher's visuals look fantastic to this day, especially to this day, when the frame rate is a conversation that is long ended. The game was such a revelation that it really was just a tough act to follow. Cyberpunk struggled under its shadow initially, at least, and no matter how good The Witcher 4 ends up being, it's gonna get compared to The Witcher 3. I think it will ultimately probably be to its favor. Witcher 4 is going to, I think, be a real behemoth as well. But no matter how great it is, it can't be the thing to gaming that Witcher 3. Witcher 3 changed a lot of things. It's become the standard by which all other open world games are measured against, and even now most don't compare favorably to it. And number 7 is Ratchet & Clank Future. What's so impressive about the first PlayStation 3 entry to the long-running Ratchet & Clank series is that it feels like it could have come out 10 years later and it would be almost indistinguishable. You can barely tell the game came out in 2007. It's practically old enough to drive, but you'd hardly know it. I mean, the lack of fancy shader effects gives it away at least a little bit, but the animation quality and the art design still hold up spectacularly. The thing about the Ratchet & Clank games is they're all pretty much the same as the second one that included strafing. They've been all pretty much the same thing from there, only slightly updated to keep time. I mean, look at the latest game compared to this one. Obviously, the newest game is light years ahead in terms of tech, but gameplay-wise, they're pretty much the same. The only major difference is it ripped apart as a dent. Crazy. Different from the Total Brothers. Crazy nonetheless. Gameplay, though, always simple in these games, and that's what makes them so timeless. You run around levels and blast everything. A lot of other stuff that doesn't. It's scientific and reason these games keep getting made. There's an elemental pleasure to them that, at least for a lot of people, never really gets old. So it doesn't matter how many times they're repeating the formula. They've done enough as the game progresses. They've touched the things that can use it, level design, technology, and they've left the stuff that should be left alone. The gameplay. It's great gameplay. And while the PlayStation 2 games were impressive for their time, they do show signs of age. They look old, even if when you're actually playing them, they're still fun. What stands out about the PlayStation 3 entries, even if they're pretty new things, they look amazing. The updated character designs and the greatly improved animation really go a long way toward making these games feel timeless. Future looks incredible, and the sequel, A Rift in Time, looks even better. People were saying these games look like live-action Pixar movies back in the late 2000s, and honestly, they still hold up to that statement. Maybe not today's Pixar movies, but certainly Pixar movies from some era. The cutting-edge graphics at the time, plus the timeless gameplay, make the games just hold up really well today. And number 6 is Ori and the Blind Forest. Practically cheating with this one. Just look at it. The game is absolutely incredible. It is still, to this day, one of the most beautiful side-scrollers ever made. The art design is impeccable, and that's undeniable. What's especially impressive, though, is how the 3D models seamlessly integrate with the painted background. In most games, a 3D character mixed with 2D elements feels jarring, but they managed to make it look totally natural here.
Spare some kindness?
You'll have to settle for
Honestly, after having not played it for a while,
to my
I kind of forgot that they did that. And coming back to it, it looks like it could have come out yesterday. People would be singing the praises of its visual design.
Stop right there.
If it came out yesterday.
And
on top of that, the original
without a
Ori
travel permit, you don't.
it's not like incredibly innovative or
And I am willing to let you walk
outside
away.
of opening the
Do
game
not
with
make
a
me regret
cutscene that'll make even the most glassy-eyed sociopath react for a box of
Trouble
tissues.
at the
That's a
gate,
new
stranger.
idea, I guess,
I can
introducing
help.
some kind of emotional narrative to what is otherwise pretty conventional Metroidvania. Keep in mind that this came out before the huge surge of Metroidvanias. They were popular, but Hollow Knight didn't come out until 2017, and that's years after this game was published. Hollow Knight was, that's the true oversaturation of the genre right there. That's the beginning. So even though it was a game made before the big resurgence, I would say it holds up better than most. And number 5 is World in Conflict, a Cold War RTS that holds up for a lot of reasons. For one, it was an innovator in the RTS space right around the time the bottom fell out of the genre, so feels pretty modern today simply because the big-budget real-time strategy games just started dying out. Nobody was really trying to be cutting edge with these games anymore. Instead, they were just trying to chase a dwindling audience with nostalgia. StarCraft 2 pretty much plays like StarCraft 1. Same goes for the last remaining Command & Conquer games, except that last one we don't talk about.
That samurai
The very
enjoys
last
his
one.
post. But he is making the most of what little power he has.
By being an ass.
Hard times make for hard people. But you showed me a kindness, so it's my turn to do the same.
How did you get a permit?
I ran a lumberyard before the Oni drove me off my land. There's nothing left for me in Ishikari Plain, but I sense there is for you. Good luck, stranger.
World in Conflict was actually doing something we do by having an actual functional camera and making the game actually look accessible.
I have a permit.
How did you... Let me see that. Wait here.
The multiplayer was
I have
fun.
to verify
It
its
tells this Cold
authenticity.
War narrative about the U.S. getting invaded, which sounds... I have played and beaten some of the hardest games of all time, live, right here on this channel. Yet despite that, people still jump into the comments and they're like, that game's not hard. Silver Surfer's not hard. You ever played Barbie Horse Ride? That's the hardest game ever made. People love to have opinions about what a hard game is or what makes a hard game. So let's settle the score once and for all. Let's find the hardest game on every console. And this is going to include imports, games released worldwide, not just the ones released here in the United States. Now, I spent over 30 hours reading forum posts, checking freaking Reddit, watching every YouTube video I could, asking you guys to find out what they thought the hardest games were on every single system. I threw it all in a spreadsheet, had my PhD buddy who's a statistician look at it, and I have the results. To be included in this list, the console has to have at least 30 games released for it.
and we only have time to talk about the top 25 most popular consoles is voted by you, and sadly that means we have to exclude handhelds. Maybe they'll make another video. Also, we know that there are tons of people out there that just parrot the stuff they've seen online in other videos. Everything is dark. So while this... Hey guys, I'm RNG Gamer. I play all my games randomly, and these are the hardest games on every console. First up, the Atari 2600 from 1977. There were lots of nominations for the hardest game on this console, but coming in at the top we have games like Raiders of the Lost Ark, Double Dragon, and Gravatar, the game I thought was going to be #1 on the list. But I was wrong. The winner coming in with more votes than any other game is Junior Pac-Man. What makes this so hard? What makes this harder than regular Pac-Man or Miss Pac-Man? Well, this game is lightning fast compared to both of those. The maze doesn't fit on one screen. It's scrolling. So you can't see what's going on at the top of the map if you're at the bottom, and you can't see what's at the bottom of the map if you're at the top, which often causes you to just run into danger. There are no portals on the sides of the screen like in Pac-Man and Miss Pac-Man that allow you to loop around and get out of the way. You are closed in on all sides. The ghosts in this are ultra fast. As a matter of fact, they are as fast as you, if not faster, so you can't really outrun them. And they have an erratic AI that is very difficult to predict. Pac-Man relies on you learning the enemy behavior so you can trick the ghosts. When you can't see half the map and you don't know what's going on off screen, it makes it hard to learn the enemy behavior. For that reason, Junior Pac-Man is the hardest game on the Atari 2600. The Intellivision from 1979. We saw several inclusions at the top of this list, including Pole Position, Turbo, Zaxxon, but the winner overwhelmingly was Vectron. One of the issues with this game is just understanding how to play it. It has very abstract gameplay with confusing controls and just bizarre mechanics. Looking at this gameplay footage, you may not even know what's going on, but the purpose of the game is you are trying to build a base and defend it simultaneously. Now, if you've never seen the Intellivision controller before, it's kind of odd. And this game requires you to move the player and the attack disc simultaneously while using...
With me. It's my habit to get paid for one job before starting the next.
And it's mine to arrest wanted outlaws using fraudulent papers to sneak past a checkpoint. But I'm willing to make an exception.
Our list had more nominations than FromSoft as a developer, and for a good reason. Ikaruga once again makes another appearance. I charge you to go try to play this game on the Xbox. And like part, often causing you to lose tons of, was Ninja Gaiden Black. Ninja Gaiden Black has one of the hardest to master combat systems in any game. You can't cancel or change attacks mid-animation, which requires you to have careful planning and tactics, which is really hard in a game where the enemies are so freaking fast that it requires lightning-fast reflexes on your part. I don't understand the dichotomy of needing to carefully plan, yet have lightning-fast reflexes. I just can't wrap my head around that, and a lot of other people couldn't either. The game also sends over-the-top numbers of enemies at you to the point where you feel like the game is just unbalanced and is literally trolling. Ninja Gaiden Black does not give you a chance to catch your breath or even really to think. The checkpoints are spaced very far apart, often causing you to lose tons of progress from only a tiny mistake. Just like Shinobi, the game was designed only here on the Xbox 3. Now we're entering the 7th console generation, the era of Dark Souls. Everything's Dark Souls. Dark Souls was made by a company called FromSoft, and spoiler warning, no company on this entire list had more nominations than FromSoft as a developer, and for a good reason. Ikaruga once again makes another appearance. It appeared on the Xbox 360, still frustrating people. Super Meat Boy, our first digital release game, makes an appearance here. Vanquish, an underrated third-person action game, and Dark Souls shows up for the first time on this list. However, the winner was Ninja Gaiden 2, the sequel to Ninja Gaiden Black on the Xbox. And I am sure that that game is very, very difficult. I haven't played it. However, we are going to have to veto that pick because probably the hardest game of all time, a game only 2 people were able to beat after trying regularly for 20 years, made its only console appearance outside of the arcade on the Xbox 360. And it's an import game called Pink Sweets. Now you can see what this game is like. It's a lightning-fast bullet-hell nightmare set in a tin toy factory. Before you can understand how hard this game is, let me explain 3 things. 1 credit clears, extends, and rank. A 1 credit clear is a term used for an arcade game to say that you beat an arcade game only purchasing 1 credit, meaning you put in 1 quarter into the arcade machine and you beat the game. You didn't have to sit there feeding money into this arcade machine over and over and over again. Most arcade games, you could just put $50 into it and just win, okay? So for arcade games, credit feeding doesn't count. You have to beat the game on 1 credit. The owner of the arcade can set a...
Hola, Tehuacán.
Saludos.
¿Cómo estás? 2X Light.
If the samurai survived, there should be footprints.
Lex Tecate Light.
Dead. Blood. Drag marks.
And let's hope for
you get for reaching a certain score. The last is rank. A lot of arcade games, the better you play, the harder they get. They want to get your money, they want to get you off that machine. Typically with rank, if you start doing poorly, the difficulty of the game adapts down. Pink Sweets, the game we're talking about, has no extents. You will not get an extra life from getting a better score. The only way to get extra lives is to find them hidden inside the game in certain locations. If you get over 6 of them, the game glitches.
Me las puedo sacar, pero estás hasta Puebla, está cabrón que te pase una.
Do well on this job, and I'll put in a good word with my commander.
I prefer money to words, even good ones.
A requisition with Clan Matsumai comes with many benefits.
And orders.
Quería hacer eso.
Out, it gives you infinite lives. And that is the way people who competitively play this game play it. They get infinite lives and they just try to get the highest score. This version on the Xbox 360, they removed the infinite lives glitch. In Pink Sweets, the rank never goes down. The better you play, the harder the game gets. Dying doesn't lower it. Using a bomb doesn't lower it. Using a continue doesn't lower it. The strategy to succeed at this game, if you really can succeed at all, is to just sit back and dodge and not even fire, and just try not to get hit, so that you don't raise the rank and the game can be slightly more manageable. So basically, the way to win is to not play. It took something like 10 years for someone to get the 1 credit clear on this game, and they basically played it non-stop for an entire decade. I think this is pretty much the hardest game I've ever played or I've ever seen.
This is the
PlayStation 3, 2006. Here you have more nominations from FromSoft, Dark Souls, and Demon Souls, both of which almost won, primarily because of the popularity contest with this voting round. But you also had Metal Gear Rising Revengeance, another game that I beat on Steam, and yeah, it was tough. But the winner, and rightly so, is Ninja Gaiden Sigma, which I also beat on stream and struggled immensely. Now, for those of you that know this, Ninja Gaiden Sigma is just a remake of Ninja Gaiden Black that won on the original Xbox. It has some new content, like a second playable character and some new weapons, but it adds in more checkpoints that are closer together. The gameplay is still nightmarishly difficult, and the game is a good bit longer than it was on the Xbox, that extra content, but it's considered to be slightly easier than Ninja Gaiden. Still, considering the watered-down difficulty of this game,
Hijo de puta.
on PS3 lets you know how freaking hard and unforgiving it is. That even when it's bumped down 10%, it's still the hardest game on a freaking console. It's no joke, which means Ninja Gaiden Black on the Xbox is really no joke. As someone who played this game for the first time in front of a live audience, let me tell you, I don't ever want to have to do something like that again. It is really a difficult game. The Nintendo Wii 2006. This one's a little strange. I'm not sure if it's because like casual gamers and kids were the ones that mainly played the Wii, but a lot of stuff was nominated that I wouldn't think anybody would consider to be hard.
We had contenders like Donkey Kong Country Returns, which I just played through the weekend without too much trouble. Surprised to see it on here. There's also Monster Hunter Tri, Fire Emblem, Radiant Dawn, Punch-Out. Trauma Center Second Opinion pulled in a lot of votes, and that game is really, really hard and super stressful. Doing surgery with a Wiimote is not the easiest task, okay? But the winner with the most votes by far, and I wholeheartedly agree, was Sin and Punishment Star Successor. This was developed by a studio called Treasure. Now, FromSoft may have had the most votes with all their Dark Souls games, but no company won more on this list than Treasure. They won on the Saturn, the Radiant Solar Gun. They won on the Dreamcast, Ikaruga. They won here on the Wii. They barely lost out on the PS2 with Gradius 5. They even did well on the N64 with the first Sin and Punishment game. That's an impressive resume. Now, Sin and Punishment is an on-rail shooter. And this game has constant, non-stop action that requires you to move your character around the screen and dodge like crazy while also aiming at the screen with the Wiimote. This is kind of like rubbing your stomach and patting your head at the same time, but 20 times harder and for like 30 minutes straight. The screen is full of tons of projectiles and the enemies coming at you from all directions. You have to constantly dodge while aiming, and it's just a lot for your brain to handle. You have regular shots, charge shots, melee attacks, and you have to know the best time to use them. The boss fights are very difficult and have totally different patterns based on what difficulty you're playing. So playing on normal isn't going to train you very much for hard mode. You have to dive into that and through trial by fire actually learn the mechanics and the patterns of the bosses. The main difficulty in this game, like it is with most on-rail shooters, is having to multitask. Being asked to keep track of all the game's different elements and techniques at such a breakneck speed while being assaulted non-stop, it's just mental overload for most gamers. We have back-to-back Nintendo consoles. Here's the Wii U from 2012. Now, there's not a lot of games on the Wii U, but there are a few standout. You see New Super Luigi U, Bayonetta 2, Zombie U, and the wonderful 101. But the winner, surprisingly, was Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze. Now, there is a game on the Wii U that's digital only called Cloudberry Kingdom, and a lot of people said that that was the hardest game on the system, and not enough people nominated it for it to make it on to the top 5. Also, that game is procedurally generated, meaning the levels can range from being hard to very easy, depending on just the random number generator. Okay, so that kind of excludes it from being able to veto the top pick. Because whenever anybody nominated this game and said it was like the hardest game ever and there was gameplay footage of all the crazy crap, just as many people were like, well, that never happened to me when I played the game at all. It was super easy to me. So it looks like it was just chance. So Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze is the rightful winner. Now, all of the Donkey Kong Country games are hard for the same reason. Donkey Kong himself has some strange momentum and inertia that can make pinpoint platforming a lot trickier. There's some difficult platforming in these games that's hard to get used to, where there's a refractory period after you land a jump before you can jump again that a lot of people never really get the hang of. Often you'll have to fail several times in a level to learn what's coming up, so you can kind of pseudo-memorize the level. The boss fights can also be kind of long. They don't have any checkpoints, so you'll have to memorize those too. So this is probably the easiest game to appear on this list as a winner. However, one of the reasons I think so many people nominated it was for the hard mode of the game, which is a tall order. In hard mode, you only get a single hit. There are no checkpoints in the levels, and there are no items to help you. So every level has to be an absolute perfect run. That is super hard by anybody's standards. Any good gamer would struggle with that. However, that's not the way most people played this game. I think most of the people that nominated it didn't even do that. So while that is hard, I don't consider the rest of the game to be one of the standouts on this list. Although it probably is the hardest game on the Wii U. The PlayStation 4 2013. The PlayStation 4 is my favorite console of all time. Now, at this point, we started getting some blurring between the different generations. See, a lot of games that appeared on this list previously and existed previously started appearing again on the PlayStation 4. And we started seeing them get nominated again on this system. In this generation, you also see tons of indie games getting mentioned again and again and again across multiple platforms. Celeste, Darkest Dungeon, The Finding of Isaac, Enter the Gungeon, Dead Cells, Hollow Knight, Cuphead, Hades. The PS4 is home to tons of really hard Japanese shoot-em-ups. Games like Battle Garegan, Ketsui, Dodonpachi, Diojo. Those all got re-releases on the PS4. However, most of these Japanese shoot-em-up re-releases have training modes and easy modes and super easy modes added to the game to make them more accessible.
In their arcade incarnations, these games are harder than anything that would ever appear on this list. And because they're able to train you how to play, it kind of eliminates a lot of them from this list. Because the winner, it doesn't have any way to train you at all. The games that got the most votes were Super Meat Boy, which was nominated previously on the Xbox 360, Dark Souls 3 and Bloodborne, both FromSoft games. The Witness, a puzzle game, got a ton of votes. Now, I have a video series called The Hardest Games I've Ever Played, and I nominated The Witness because I said that it was a puzzle game that made me feel dumber than any other game I've ever played. There's no combat in this. There are no real challenges. You can't die. It just relies on you to think. And the fact that it requires you to think and so many people failed at this and it was nominated on this list in like third place, that's crazy to think. Ikaruga also makes another appearance here in second place on its fifth console. Jeez, that's crazy. But the winner, with 30% more votes than any other game nominated on the PS4, is Sekiro Shadows Die Twice, FromSoft's first win on this list. And this is considered to be the hardest FromSoft game. That's saying a lot, considering FromSoft is the company that has the most nominations on this list of the hardest games on every console. This whole game is designed around your ability to parry. Instead of farming XP and gear so you can get an advantage like in every other Souls game, you only have your gaming skills here to save you. You can't summon NPCs or players to come help you. You can't tailor the gameplay to your style. You have to master the combat system exactly the way FromSoft wants you to. You have to nail those parries, which can be almost frame perfect, and then be highly offensive to try to break the enemy's posture. And I don't mean offensive as in like you're insulting their integrity. I mean offensive as in you've got to go on the offense. You can't...
Really,
How are you alive?
a samurai found me and nursed me back to health. I thought you were dead. If I'd known you had survived,
I buried mother and father. And then I sat under the tree and waited for days for you.
It took weeks just to gain the strength to walk again, and then... I couldn't go back. I have never been back. But we are together now. I want to hear everything.
Rely on defense, not this time around. Estimates say that only 10 to 15% of players beat the final boss in Sekiro, whereas the other Souls...
I was on the losing side.
But you were there. I've never left, that's all.
Nothing stopping you.
games. And Elden Ring have closer to a 40% completion rate. That tells me that Sekiro is 3 to 4 times harder than the other Souls
What did they do to make you so loyal?
That gives another meaning to Dark Souls hard. The Xbox One from 2013 and the Xbox Series X from 2020. There's so much overlap between these two consoles and their cross-compatibility that I'm just going to include them together. And if that frustrates you, don't worry. There's so much overlap. And Elden Ring have closer to a 40% completion rate. That tells me that Sekiro is 3 to 4 times harder than the other Souls games. That gives another meaning to Dark Souls hard. The Xbox One from 2013 and the Xbox Series X from 2020. There's so much overlap between these two consoles and their cross compatibility that I'm just going to include them together. And if that frustrates you, don't worry about it. The same games were nominated on both of them. Like, there was no difference. We have Doom Eternal making its first appearance, The Surge, which I was surprised to see, and Alien Isolation. But the winner with back-to-back wins is Sekiro Shadows Die Twice. The clear hardest game of the generation, appearing as the hardest game on 2 consoles. The Nintendo Switch 2017. The nominations on this one were weird, just like the Wii. Once again, I don't know if it was a bunch of kids or casual gamers nominating games, but you saw like stuff like Super Mario Galaxy, like a game my 8-year-old beat, making the list, like in the 10th place. But there were some heavy hitters on here. We had Metroid Dread, Dark Souls Remastered, Ikaruga again for the 6th time now, Donkey Kong Country Returns, the remaster, and tons of indie darlings, all cannibalizing each other's votes. But we finally have our first indie game winner, and it's Cuphead. I know you've been waiting for it. This is where it appeared. Cuphead took the world by storm with its gorgeous presentation and its tough-as-nails gameplay. It's an old-school run-and-gun that is amped up to the max. You have tons of difficult boss patterns with multiple... phases that are relentless and require inhuman reflexes or tons of memorization. You have this bouncing on pink objects parry mechanic that you have to master the timing of to have any real success. There's no health regeneration and no checkpoints. You get all the chances you need, but even then, it's going to put your skills to the test to take down some of these bosses because you're going to have to do it in one go. The controls are tight, responsive, pretty much perfect. So if you fail, you only have yourself to blame. The PlayStation 5 2020. In this one, you still have the same batches of indie games appearing again and again, but they've died down now. People have gotten used to them. They don't seem as hard as maybe they once did when they were newer on the last generation of consoles. For these nominations, we get a whole new batch of games. We have Lies of P, Neo 2, and the remake of Demon's Souls. But the clear winner by leaps and bounds is Returnal. Returnal is a third-person roguelike, which means the randomization of each run can bless you or doom you from the odds. The game takes bullet hole patterns from shoot-em-ups and forces you to dodge them in an over-the-shoulder view, which can be very difficult. Because it's in third person, you can't see what's behind you, often causing you to take damage without even being aware there was a threat at all. You have to constantly dodge, maneuver, and be aware of your surroundings, all while aiming and trying to keep damage on the enemy. When you die, progress is reset, and the random loot drops don't guarantee you'll receive what you need to succeed. You have to complete an entire area before you unlock a shortcut, which is really the game's only progression system. And according to the developers, the majority of people that played Returnal never made it out of the first area. Which means the majority of people who played this game never beat the tutorial. That's a tough game. There is no difficulty option to save you. Like I said, there's no traditional save system. You just have to be good. That's it. That's the list. But let's talk about some statistics and some honorable mentions, which I think this is the best part of the video. The Dark Souls series, they coined the term Dark Souls Hard, had 257 nominations, but never won on a single console. It was the series most on people's minds. Just because it didn't win doesn't mean it isn't deserving of accolades. The accolades always a big part. FromSoft had 9 different games that received enough nominations to be in contention for winning. Kingsfield, Demon Souls, Dark Souls 1, 2, and 3, Bloodborne, Sekiro, Armored Core 6, and Elden Ring all had the opportunity to win, with Sekiro winning twice. Of all those indie games that kept getting nominated over and over on the consoles, the one that was nominated the most times was Dead Cells. That's right, the side-scrolling Metroidvania-style roguelike. The game that made the most appearances on this list by far was Ikaruga. It made it into the top 4 on 6 different systems. Systems that spanned over a 20-year period. Dreamcast to PS5. That's a long time to reign at the top. Nintendo consoles had the most parity, with the fewest numbers of games getting nominated, but having more votes than any other system. For example, like the Sega Genesis had like 60-something games nominated for it, but there are only a few hundred people voting. Whereas a Nintendo console may only have 20 games nominated for it, but like 1,000 people would vote. The exception to this was the NES, the Nintendo Entertainment System, and the Famicom, that had 88 different games nominated for it. There's a lot of hard games on that system. By far, the Nintendo Entertainment System had the highest percentage of difficult games. That's what we can extrapolate from that little bit of statistics. So the term Nintendo Hard reigns true. The franchise that had the most appearances wasn't actually the Dark Souls series. It was the Ninja Gaiden series. It made appearances and was nominated on 10 different consoles, ranging all the way from the NES up to the PS5. Meaning, no other game franchise has tormented more generations of players than Ninja Gaiden. But the most interesting statistic of all is the best performing game. Other than Ikaruga, the game that when it was nominated almost won every single time it appeared was Rayman. It won on the PlayStation 1. It almost won on the Atari Jaguar and the Sega Saturn. As a matter of fact, out of hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of votes and nominations, if Rayman had 6 more votes, it would have been a 3-time winner. If you stuck around this long, I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. This video...
The Joe Rogan Experience.
Watch those flames! You don't fight like a Matsumai dog.
Because I'm not.
Why work for the samurai? Prepare yourself! He's trying to disarm you! Someone with your strength belongs with the Oni Raiders.
I'd rather die.
Prepare yourself!
Well, who's next?
Who taught you how to fight that?
Anyone willing to... to teach me.
Come on, before more arrive.
This is Beating the Backlog, the videos on this channel where I talk about the games I have beaten recently. Now, the whole point of this channel is that all the games from my backlog are selected randomly for me to play. However, none of the games in this video were selected randomly for me to play. They're all games of...
If you know where he is, why not attack?
Because he has cannons and fortified walls? Not to mention a small army. When we make a move, it must be done the right way.
En este video descubrí al próximo ganador de los GOTY de 2025 y para eso tuve que jugar a los juegos más sobresalientes de este año. Esos juegos que nos hicieron decir, uy, ese es GOTY, ¿eh?
Hombre, estás mal. Este va a ser el GOTY del año of the year.
Juegos que me pusieron al límite, que me hicieron multijugador del año. Sí, ¿cómo? Espera, ¿escuchen eso? La sonora del año. Espérate, pon la música. Espera, también se me fue la señal. Los servidores están caídos. Espera, esto solo 19. Para mí el ganador es Clear Obscure Expedition 33. Para ti, ¿cuál es el ganador? Te leo en los comentarios.
The raiders took the gate. We took it back. Let us through. You didn't want in. You feared the worst.
Lord Kitamori.
It's the name I chose when I became samurai. It means
Protector of the North.
Any opinions on this one?
Here's the note. What's going to come out on top.
Just robbed it of its bounce entirely. Oh, nice and promising start. That's his best strategy.
Anticipation.
It's been having seen this.
On the forehand.
Unbelievably good. Find the big
point, the change of the forehand, Varling's in and talked to.
Senegal, it's a desert dynasty in Saudi Arabia. It's used to fix King Islam.
Ever
Ever since Resident Evil exploded onto the scene in 1996 and made inventory reshuffling in the face of a zombie outbreak popular, players have been regularly fighting down to their very last bullet.
The bridge is almost finished. Soon reinforcements will come from Matsumai Castle.
We'd be done sooner if the Oni raiders didn't keep stealing our lumber.
Well, now you'll have a few less bandits to worry about. My associate and I made sure of that.
I was wondering who the stray was.
I'm his long-lost sister.
She's a funny one. I'll inform Commander Wada of your arrival.
So, I'm your associate?
What did you expect me to say? I don't know you, remember?
You could have told them I'm the one who killed the snake.
To Clan Matsumai, this Onryo is just another outlaw. I need to report to Commander Wada. Stay out of trouble, please.
They should bring him here to teach us the way of the Yari. They tried, but he refuses to leave that island off the coast. Learn more about fighting in the past. Where is that weapon? What happened to these men? They were scouting...
You, the woman with the sword. Come here. We've no room in this camp for idle hands. Prove you deserve to hold that katana.
By chopping bamboo?
By following orders.
How about this? I'll chop your bamboo, but if I get through my
We all
stack
know by
faster
now
than
that
them,
Pokemon Legends
I want something in
CA's
return.
biggest change is its battle system.
Oh.
Instead of the usual
And what
turn-based
is that?
RPG that we're all used
Your
to,
hat.
Legends CA
Deal.
introduces a real
But I want
battle
clean
system.
cuts.
This
Not a
changes
hatchet
how
job.
things work in more ways than one. So here's everything you need to know about Legend CA's battle system, including how cooldowns work, how close range and long range attacks differ, and even how the speed stat affects battles. First up, moving, targeting, and commanding. Instead of just choosing a move for a certain turn, there's a lot going on Pokemon Legend CA's battlefield. You'll need to log on your target CL to see your Pokemon's 4 moves. Then press the corresponding base button to command your Pokemon to execute that move.
Not bad.
Your hat, my lord.
Filthy wanderer. What are you looking at? Keep chopping.
This is the associate I spoke of, Commander Wada.
This is a bit easier while you are in targeting the opponent. Keeping some distance from will give you more time to position.
Atsu, do not keep Commander Wada waiting.
Will send you to the Pokemon Center yourself, because I think it's obstacle to this. Spread with me and not...
Mercenary?
I heard guns are not especially when it's near of moves Alpha Pokemon.
She was essential in bringing the Oni raiders who murdered our men to justice.
You left out certain key details.
So long as he mentioned my reward.
I'm sorry? Are you a ghost or a mercenary? You may have bewitched the rest of Ezo.
but Clan Matsumai is tasked with bringing order
So,
to the north.
review in progress is on site now.
And you.
I tried to be pretty
You
comprehensive
are
in
no
what I've
better
seen
than
so
a
far.
Yotei
Next
6.
fully scored
Commander
video
Wada.
and written review.
But I will not disgrace the memory of the samurai.
Awesome. Yeah, it's interesting because this is the
Take your
first
money.
Switch 2
Get out of my
edition
camp.
game that's come out at the same
you
time
wish,
as its Switch 1
my
counterpart. We're going to see the same thing in December with Metroid Prime 4 Beyond.
Commander
The
Wada,
Switch 2 version
she
of review,
is
all the
skilled with
preview
a
events
blade.
was always the
It
Switch 2
takes
version.
more than
We'll
that to
definitely
be
update
samurai.
how it is on the Switch
As you well
in the
know.
coming weeks. But let's just get that out of the way before we get into the game. How does Pokemon Legends Gate perform and run? I hear it's pretty good.
On Switch 2, big asterisk on this whole thing. I'm talking
I should
about Switch
leave
2. I played
before
10
they
minutes
kick
of
me
Switch
out.
1. I have no idea. It's all cutscene. I have no idea how good it is. So just hold off on that. On Switch 2, fine.
Atsu, wait.
Go back, Jubei.
Give me time. I'll talk to him. Wear him down.
So I can take orders from people who hate me? I'm here for the Oni. To avenge father.
You can't just ride up to the castle. It's suicide. There's a market outside its walls. Start there.
Ready, boy?
This will trip her up.
are here too. Let's get our bearings. The samurai mentioned a Yari master hiding on an island off the coast. Chubei said the market was near the castle. This must be it. Ishikari Castle. The Oni's been busy fortifying its walls. That won't stop me. We have enough to get started. Happy hunting. See you around.
From the dead raiders. I won't warn you again. You touch one of these bodies, you better be ready to draw steel.
I'm not about to fight you over a corpse.
It's their masks I want. To wear the face of a demon is to gain its power.
These raiders are dead. Can't be much power left in those masks.
A mask seller at the Oni's Breath Inn assures me they're valuable. If you want these masks, pay up or draw your sword.
We'll do this the hard way.
I was hoping you'd say that.
Hello. You ever see foxes playing with fireflies at night?
They're like butterflies, too.
I saw one run off by a tree with red leaves. If I followed, I might have found their secrets.
I'll have to take a look myself.
Seen enough.
You have items to barter, Kakema?
If the raiders take over the fishery, we'll all run out of food.
Who's running out of food?
All of us. The Oni raiders took over Nishin Fishery. What they catch feeds a lot of people across Ishikari Plain. And is sold to the rest of Ezo.
Tell me where I can find this fishery.
By the shore, past Otaru Hills. Knowing the raiders, they plan on taking it all for themselves. What a disaster.
Little bit of kindness, please. Thank you, stranger. How can I repay you?
Just find yourself something to eat.
Imagine how much better life would be if not for that damned castle. The lumber alone. More lumber, more food, more of everything.
Next merchant.
Archers, if you have the coin, I have what you need. Decided to brave the demons of Ishikari, I see.
They die the same as everyone else.
Yes. It's why my bows are popular amongst the locals. The raiders, on the other hand, they like things for free. Not good for business at all.
Hey, you with the sword. A word?
I hope you are satisfied. Can I interest you in something else? Is there something else? I would leave this valley before it burns to the ground. I said the same to my friend Sanji, but no, he wanted to learn how to fight back. Now he's locked in a raider garrison, and he owes me money.
If I see him, I'll tell him how worried you are.
Shogun of the North, huh?
Bounties are on the board. All the details you need are on there.
A bounty board. Could tell me something about the Oni. They're getting more detailed. The traitorous raider Magoro made off with the Oni's prized musket. The Oni will personally reward whoever returns the weapon and the thief alive. This could be how I get close to the Oni.
I haven't seen him, I swear! Mad Gordo stole from me too. He never paid his tab.
And you think your debt is more important than the Oni's?
No, that's not what I meant!
Dust.
You are not the dog we are looking for, but you do. I will take your head!
We don't like your kind here, wanderer. You serve the Oni or you die.
You will not be ready for this!
Order! Spare me already!
I am never going near Otaru Hills.
That barman knows the Oni's bounty. Mad Goro.
Dead or alive. Everyone's head is worth a price. I can't let the Oni have it. No.
What's in Otaru Hills?
Bad news, that's what. Explosions going off everywhere. No wonder the Oni raiders issued a bounty on this bomb maker. Ina something or other.
Chasing after a bomb maker? Not the best idea.
Don't look. He's watching.
Who's he?
That man on the cliff.
He seems harmless.
I said don't look. He just stands there. I'm telling you, he is up to no good. I'll pay you to get rid of him.
I'll go see what he's up to.
Be quick about it.
What do you want, stranger?
You're making the market residents nervous.
Old man Shozo giving you trouble?
They might calm down if they knew why you were watching them.
A story better told with a meal. Please, sit. I've been marinating those mushrooms for hours. Special recipe I learned from a friend. That friend now rests in the graveyard nearby. He left a daughter. She works in the market. I promised I would protect her.
Why keep your distance?
I'm a Ronin. The life I lead, I don't want her anywhere near it. I just wish I had the courage to give her this keepsake. It was her father's.
I can take it to her.
A rare kindness. Thank you. Her name is Mine. She cleans the building next to the sake house.
No, no, no. Turn around. You're not welcome here.
That's no way to greet someone who saved your life.
Saved? The Oni Raiders will be back, and I'll have more than Mad Goro to answer for.
I saw his bounty outside. He stole a musket from the Oni.
Why do you think they call him Mad? Goro is as crazy as he is belligerent.
So why protect him?
I'm not. If I knew anything, I would have told the Raiders. I swear on my children, the two I like. Look, you can have one drink on the house, then please leave.
One drink. So much for gratitude. Maybe someone else knows about Mad Goro.
How am I going to explain what happened to those Oni Raiders?
By telling the truth. They were killed by an Onryo.
Who's going to believe that? This day can't get any worse.
The way she stood up to those raiders reminds me of Sensei Takashi with his yari.
He's still hiding out at an island off the coast. Training for I don't know what.
They found Oni raiders filled with bullets. Mad Goro's work.
We'll avoid that route. Which way did you say?
It's... What is a samurai doing here?
You took my tip to check out the market.
Did Commander Wada send you to keep tabs on me?
He doesn't know I'm here.
Is Clan Matsumai's golden boy going rogue?
Hardly. What have you learned?
The Oni put a bounty on one of his own raiders who stole some prized musket. They call him Mad Goro.
And you think that if you bring him in, you can gain an audience with the Oni?
Those merchants mentioned Oni raiders filled with bullets. Not many firearms in Ishikari Plain. They were about to say where, when you showed up.
Them?
The point.
I can get them to talk. Excuse me, miss?
What are you doing?
Relax. Please, send those gentlemen a round of your finest sake.
Don't say who it's from.
Gentlemen, thank you for being such excellent customers. Please, accept a round of sake.
Didn't expect to find good service in Ishikari Plain.
That should loosen their tongues.
Quiet. I'm trying to listen.
One more drink, then we head out. If we're avoiding Iwami Village, we'll need the extra light.
Iwami Village. That must be where Magoro killed the Oni raiders.
See? I have my ways.
Out of the way, or feel the Oni's wrath.
Oni raiders. But are they here for me or you?
Let's find out.
The samurai. Where is he? I want my reward first. Your reward will be a sword to the gut, unless you tell us where the samurai is.
I guess they're here for me.
Look, boys. He found himself a woman.
You've got the wrong idea.
Why don't we set them straight?
Cut the head off the snake! He must have been too drunk! I got you! Before reinforcements arrive. These people are forced to live in fear under the Oni.
We know what that's like.
Atsu, about that night. What they did to our parents.
Forget it. I shouldn't have said anything. There's your horse. Give Commander Wada my regards.
Atsu, wait. Can we please talk?
Be quick. I have a bounty to catch.
Let me help you.
Why?
Father would want us to work together, and I want to know my sister.
You may not like who I've become.
You're assuming I liked you before.
All right. But this is my job. I make the calls.
Lead the way.
Iwami Village. That's where we'll pick.
Bueno, creo que voy a acabar esto.